Hey guys, how you doing? This is Margaret Section. I'm here today to bring you the review for My Hero Academia, episode 22 of season 5. And now, just like last week's episode, it's a character growing moment. And I remember saying last week, I feel like that this moment was overshadowed and they should have been more focused on it, and it was rushed. And I feel the same way for this week's episode, but less so than I did for last week's episode. So, for example, last week we had Toga's character development moment where we learn a bit about her and we see her quirk improve. Similarly, this week we have the same. Yeah, so that happened with Toga last week, and then I feel like the what happened in the rest of the episode kind of overshadowed the moment, made it seem like it wasn't the focus of the episode, and I feel like that it should have been. Whereas within this week, we have the same thing for twice, and then for what I feel like this was what overshadowed this within episode because of the pacing of the flashback into him getting over the trauma was, in my eyes, very quick. I feel like what overshadowed this within this episode was when they finally get to the tower and we have Redrestro speaking to Shiggy and all of that stuff. I feel like that overshadowed Twice's getting over his trauma. Why I feel like it doesn't overshadow um as much as last week's episode stuff within last week's episode is because Twice is a big part of how they get to the tower in the first place. Before he could only do X amount of clones at a time. Now he's doing mass shadow clone jitsu. He's just pouring them out all willy-nilly. Don't seem like it's going to be stopping anytime soon, and he's just there doing bits. And like I said, he's a big reason of why they get to the tower within this episode. So with an episode that I feel like is supposed to be focused on him, he's not overshadowed as much because of that reason. And I pretty much think that is the majority of what I've got to say, but obviously let's mention a few other things that happen within this episode. So we have Dabby versus this ice guy, I forget his name, and now it's reminded to us that he can control ice, and it's said to us within this episode he can even control the temperature of ice. And okay, I'm thinking, okay, that's cool, yeah, but there's a point within the episode where it seems like he freezes water, and that's not controlling. That's not, in my eyes anyway, that's not controlling rice. Fair enough, you can control the temperature of ice, make it hot or make it colder or whatever, but how warm can ice get before it stops being ice? That's my problem there with his quirk, because I feel like within this episode today, he controlled water. He froze water. He controlled water. He weren't manipulating ice there. Another thing to happen within this episode was Gigs, as I call him, Makia. No, I don't know. We call him Gigs here on the channel. We call him Gigs. You know who I'm talking about. He has been woken up, so I think that he's been woken up early. But regardless of that, he's en route to the cave, to shit where Shiggy is, and anime only watchers. What do you think he's gonna do when he gets there? Will he even get there on time? Because by the end of the episode, we have the real Shiggy. He's taken down the tower, and he is face to face with Redestro. So one more thing I want to say about Redestro within this episode is that we get something stuck in my teeth. We get a little look at his quirk, and it seems like he can modify body parts to possibly, it's safe to assume, to make himself stronger. So what do you think is essentially going on there, and how do you feel a fight between him and Shiggy will go down? We do get a little bit of a tease of that within this episode, where we see Redrestro trying to hit Shiggy, but Shiggy's doing a lot of ducking and dive, literally ducking and diving, and roly poly action in there as well. So yeah, that's everything I got to say about this episode. I'm only giving it a 3-star rating. Of course, guys, I'm asking for your thoughts and opinions. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. But most importantly, take care. Have a nice day.